Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we're doing our 40K Q&A. So we recently hit a huge milestone, which is 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. And we want to thank you guys, and we want to do a little Q&A here. This one, we've asked for questions that were not so horror movie related. Well, I'm sure we will talk about some things. This is more just kind of like getting to know us. We've done a few Q&As in the past. There are links in the description where you can find those. And we answer all like the general, what's your favorite horror movie? Who's your favorite horror director? This is going to be a little bit different, more personal questions generally, or just regular questions. Okay, so we're going to start with questions that we received from Patreon. Our huge supporters on Patreon, that's why we have this cool-ass new set where we can do this kind of thing, because Patreon supporters, so we want to thank you. But yeah, let's start. So we're starting with Andrea Bazaire. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you like to travel?
I always wanted to go to Japan. Japan has been like my dream go-to place since I was so young. Just because I was big into anime and video games, and that's essentially where everything was. And I find the culture absolutely fascinating.
That's exactly where I would go. And I want to play whatever that little weird game is, Pachinko.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I know it's completely useless and it's just for stupid Midway toys, but that's what I want to do so bad.
Fun fact, early 20s, we actually almost went to Japan, remember? Teaching English as a second language.
Yeah, we were really close.
Yep.
I went through a whole course and everything, and then things fell through, unfortunately. The next one from Patreon is James March. Is there a film you think needed to be seen at the cinema? Yeah. I would think Jaws is one of those movies that would have been so much larger than life at the theater.
Jaws would have been a good one. You know which one would have been fun to see is Black Christmas. Because around the time of the late 70s and the early 80s, if something happened in a movie, it was mind-blowing. So to be a part of any movie of that era would have been crazy to see it in the theaters. Even The Hills Have Eyes, seeing that one.
Yeah, that's one that, again, we wish that we would have seen back then, but unfortunately we were not born. We probably weren't even a concept.
Yeah.
We got Mitch Reeves. What do you guys think is the most overrated franchise and underrated? He's got a few, so we'll come back to him, I think. That's tough. Probably Hellraiser. It's one of those movies. It's yes, I like the first one. I don't care about any of the other ones.
Yeah, because it just kind of goes in the direction it goes. You wouldn't think that it should go, and there's so much hype built up around it.
I know I'm gonna get shit for this one. Definitely Puppet Master. The puppets don't talk, and they're fairly boring. I mean, Blade's a cool looking character, and I do like the Leech Woman, but I don't know. It's really something to be desired. I watched all 10 2 years ago, and it's just I think it's so overrated.
I'm going to go with something a little more recent for overrated, and I'm throwing Sharknado down. I think the hype is
getting
just
a little too crazy.
Just getting a little too crazy. We're going to have the 5th installment this year, and I think the gimmick is starting to get overplayed.
Yes, I agree. Underrated, I guess outside of the horror community, Hatchet. Hatchet's awesome, but your casual horror fan probably doesn't know much about Hatchet. And that is a great series. Another one is probably going to be Wrong Turn. Again, that's a series that, it gets a little crazy and some of the makeup looks fucking ridiculous, but it's pretty good. And I think Saw, too. The Saw franchise, everyone just kind of shelves it and says, it's just torture porn, it's just traps. But, the story is fucking dope and convoluted at times, but it's fun.
And, because you always have, your big three. You have Halloween, Friday the 13th, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. I kind of feel franchises like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they don't put on that pedestal, but it's still a great series. There is that huge following for it. I'm not saying it's underrated, but
you're right.
It doesn't get the recognition that it deserves, and I feel that's an underrated series when comparing it to
the Halloween and the Friday the 13th and Nightmare. It's then there's Leatherface, then there's Chucky,
then there's Ghostface. It's just there's certain ones where you're gauging it on a different level.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. We're going to come back to some of these after we get to some of the more YouTube comments, because he does have a shit ton of questions, but they're all good questions. And they're all horror movie related, so we'll kind of intermix some. Deke from Patreon asks, Horror movie that you love that is widely regarded as a terrible movie, even by horror fans.
Ghoulies.
Fuck that movie. Including me. Hated by me too. Despite if you see me wearing a Ghoulies shirt. That was a drunken mistake at Texas Frightmare. Texas Chainsaw 3D, I don't know. I'm trying to think. What are the most hated on movies, and do I like them? I thought that was fine enough. It got stupid, but as a standalone film, it would have been okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people hate on like the reboots in horror that I don't think they should be hating on.
Like Evil Dead remake is like a prime example. We actually overheard somebody at a diner the other day talking shit about like the Evil Dead remake, and she was just shitting on it. It's not even funny.
Well, it's not supposed to be.
I know, and it was driving me crazy.
And I think that's the one thing we always bring up with reboots is you have the original. Like you can watch that one and love that one, and you can watch the reboot and love the reboot. They're two separate things.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we got another one from Deke, who's also our big D. By the way, top donator over on Patreon, so thank you for the continued support, Deke. Favorite single scene/moment in the Friday the 13th franchise? This can be a kill, but doesn't have to be. For example, I think my favorite part is when Violet is doing her robot dance in part 5. One of mine has to be the handstand kill. That's probably the major scene that I can think of in my head. Part 3, almost in its entirety, the yo-yo dropping and hitting this girl like square in the nose, and she just like doesn't even flinch. I think that is hilarious. Even though this is just like some minuscule like one-off shot, it's just something that I always remember.
The most one I have, like the most fun remembering is all the Jason X stuff. The scene where like they like put him in like the CG world or whatever. And
with the two girls smoking weed?
Yeah. Like I think that one stands out most because they know they're like poking fun of like the previous films and but they're still like paying respect at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and you got a really hilarious kill out of it as well.
Another big scene, I think, was Corey Feldman when he shaves his head in, like, 4. I like that whole, like, ending. So that's probably one of the most memorable scenes as well. Now we're going to move to some YouTube comments. First one from Old World Media. I would like to know how you guys got started in the movie review field. We've kind of addressed this in other Q&As. Basically, like, we both have film history. Like, he went to school for film. I have some film history. And I've just always liked horror movies, and we just kind of started reviewing them.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the short version. Definitely answer these ones like all the time in all the other Q&As, so definitely look for like the origins stuff there, but
yeah, it was just like a passion and something we wanted to do.
Yeah, if we like movies, why not talk about them with a camera on? Catacombs Creep. I've heard that you used to rap. Any tracks out there that we could listen to and check out? Back in the day, I used to be like a horrorcore rapper. I don't really care to share my old horrorcore name. I did switch like 180 and do some stuff as MC Escher, in which like John, I, and like all of our friends film like these music videos for some funk volume contests, some rap contests on the internet. You can definitely check that out.
Rappers usually have this grumpy cat attitude and only rap about being high like you were Lakitu. If you want to battle, I'm squashing the competition like I'm Yoshi eating shells, spitting fire right back at you.
Those are two good videos.
Yeah, links in the description. One's called Super Cool Wizard Rap, and one's the One Piece Pajama Rap.
You know what I like more than those videos is the fact that we have like behind the scenes for both of them, which you could also see on that channel.
Yeah, I have like a whole channel for that, but I mean, there's only like a handful of songs anyway.
And I gotta bring it up. There was a moment in our lives where we created a super rap group.
Oh my god.
Known as J Unit.
This
was a parody of G Unit, which was just the two of us, Jay and John. J Unit.
Oh, it was awful. The horror miser Monty G. I always ask everyone this question because I get asked this question. Jay, how did you get into horror? I guess that's just for me, John. Sorry, pal.
Go ahead. Yep. It's all yours.
I got into horror because I was just walking through like Video 99 back in the day. That doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. And I saw a doll on the shelf, which was Child's Play. And I just wanted to watch it. My mom said, "Don't you dare. Like, you can't watch this. This isn't for you." I'm like, "No, I've seen this one." Took it home. Scared the shit out of me. But I also was intrigued because I didn't know what the hell I was watching. So Child's Play was the first movie that I like remember watching. I'm sure I like caught some on TV or something, but that was like the main one that really got me into horror, or at least started my journey into horror. I think the real one was like Jason Goes to Hell or something, because like the first scene just blew me away with the chick having a shower and Jason gets blown up, and I was like, this is amazing. I need to watch all of these. And I was just like maybe 10 years old or something. I just thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah. For me, it's like the same idea, except it was Jumbo Video for me, which also doesn't exist. You just like, you're walking through and you see like the posters everywhere. Like I remember Child's Play was one of the posters that I saw on there. Dolly Dearest was another one that I saw.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of like doll movies at the time. Even just going through and seeing like the Ghoulies case. And like you're playing with toys, you're playing with Ninja Turtles, you see like this like puppet here and you're like, yeah, like what's this? This clearly could be for me, because like it's not a real human. So yeah, it was just walking through the video store and late night TV when you're just sitting on the couch.
Oh, this is a good one. This one's from Andrew Fay. Andrew Fay's famous horror. We actually met him at Texas Frightmare. We hung out for a while. Pretty cool dude. I want to know your favorite wrestlers of all time.
Chris Jericho, and it's a tie between Styles, Zayn, and Owens.
Number one is probably going to be Undertaker. I've always liked him from like a little kid. And sticking with on that path, King Kong Bundy used to be like my favorite back in the day when I had the rubber wrestlers too. So it was like him, King Kong, or like Undertaker, King Kong Bundy. Obviously Kane was huge. I like the big dudes. Rey Mysterio, also I loved him. And Bayley, because I absolutely love Bayley. I think she's awesome. I'm definitely part of the hugger section. This one's from Tonk82. Some of your favorite movies outside of horror films. Memento, Seven. I mean, it's still like borderline. Like I like the thrillers. Usual Suspects, Kill Bill, like any Tarantino stuff. Gone Girl, one of my favorite, like a recent favorite. And pretty much like all the Marvel movies, big fan.
Brain Donors is my absolute favorite movie of all time. Shaun of the Dead is like another one of my like favorite films.
Outside of horror.
I know, but that's like
comedy.
I
know, but it's still...
Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I do like the more fantasy style movies.
Next one's from Carney Lust. On a personal level, do you feel a bit of a void when you are somehow prevented from putting in work on the channel? 100%. For the first month of moving into this new place, we almost couldn't film anything. And it was so frustrating from filming like every couple days or every 3 days or so to filming nothing. And we tried so hard to make sure that we like could perfect the audio in the studio. Even like trying to create a new setup out here, and we're still dealing with audio issues. At least we can film now, because for a bit it was just like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, I have other hobbies and stuff, but I'm always thinking about the like Bloodbath and Beyond. Like this is my life. Like I spend more time doing this than I have done anything in my entire life. So without recording and not having anything to edit, I was just like sitting here like crazy, just taking it out on people on Overwatch, just fucking yelling at them. Kind of like a follow-up question, kind of relating to the channel is, what's the biggest draw between like having a big platform to speak to the like an audience, or like just watching movies with your friends and chatting about them? Like what do we prefer? I mean, it's kind of like both.
We kind of do this because we like having the community and talking to people.
Right.
But at the same time, regardless of if we're watching a horror movie or whatever movie, we love just watching movies and talking about
we watch
it.
movies and talk about them. Like, yeah, if the camera's on or not, like, we still enjoy watching movies. Like, we watched the Power Rangers movie the other day. Way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just, like, watching movies is just something we've always done, even before Bloodbath and Beyond. Like, we watch movies all the time. And I think you guys probably all watch movies, too. And so it's kind of the same thing. But, I mean, having the platform to be able to share indie movies and stuff, that's cool. Because just like back in the day when you would have to like, you hear of movies, there's whispers of different movies that you have to try and track down. This is the internet. Like we have 40,000 people that we could potentially like shine a spotlight on a small indie flick like Killer Pinata and say, hey, check out this movie, you're probably going to like it. And it's nice to have that. I like having the audience like that. And I think it helps people find cool movies. You don't have to agree with all of our opinions or anything, but I think that like having the platform is fun because we can, if we have a question about something, then you guys can answer in the comments, like asking for shark movies for Shark Week.
Yeah.
We got like an unlimited amount of shark movies to review at this point.
And like there's movies that we've never even heard of that you guys have suggested, which is awesome because there's so many films out there that I never would have known if you guys didn't like bring it to our attention.
Yeah, so it's not even about like our voice speaking to the audience, but it's like you guys talking to us. Like it's almost like an open dialogue, and that's what we want it to be. And it's nice because like if we're ever like drawing a blank for a movie, we can just pop on like the internet and just say, "Hey guys, what do you think we should watch today?" Do a Twitter poll or something. Do a poll on Patreon. Like it helps us kind of, you always have like 5 movies you want to review at the same time, and it's just like, which one do we do? Help us. So it's really great having the platform for you guys to help us out, and in turn we can hopefully steer you towards some good movies and steer you away from other garbage movies, or like most of you sadists, probably steering you directly into the bad movies because you want to watch bad movies with your friends. This one's from Zach versus the Blu-ray Mountain. That sounds like quite the challenge, Zach. Mm-hmm. You got ahead of you. Okay, it would be awesome to know who you guys would cast in a wrestling-themed horror film. I know there aren't too many. We're going to make a top 10 list on that, I think. But they're fun, definitely. Who would we cast?
The no-brainer for this one is the Wyatt family in their own horror film. I think Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and Bray Wyatt. I'm not including Braun Strowman in this one, but just those 3 alone could definitely kill like a Wrong Turn, Hills Have Eyes style of movie. On a more comedic horror style, I would love to see Big E as like a killer because he's got the wild eye. Like they're always just popping out. Do you just like imagine him being this killer? And like he's a big boy.
I think that would be stupid. I don't think that he should do that. I wouldn't hate seeing all of New Day and like Breezango like being the targets of a serial killer. Maybe Kane, like even if you had like a Jacob Goodnight from See No Evil, like hunting down like the comedy troupe of WWE, that would be cool. It's less of like for the horror reason, but I think they could do some hilarious like kills. Next up, Mark Vinod. Which superhero character you think can be a horror movie villain? I would say Mysterio. I think Mysterio would be if there was like a horror version of Mysterio, that would be amazing because you can play with whatever you want essentially. Like just create all these weird illusions and freak the shit out of people. And he kind of looks creepy. I mean, he couldn't be wearing green and purple, but if he was wearing like some other like darkish clothes, I think it would be neat. And his globy head had to be like a little smaller maybe.
I would be down for like the Mad Hatter from Batman just because it would be a more surreal, dark thing. Because the whole idea behind him is like his obsession with Alice in Wonderland and finding his Alice. So I think it would be like a real creepy movie
like
if it's
a
like
stalkery.
Like a stalker, like working like a girl from like a sorority campus or something like that. I think that would be creepy.
All right, that scary chick. How did y'all meet?
We met at a concert when we were like 17, 18 years old.
This was like the MySpace era where you could talk to each other there.
It was ICQ and MSN Messenger.
Yep, so we just talked for like a long time, and then like we'd meet up like probably every year or bi-yearly, and I ended up moving down here at some point, and now we hang out like every single day pretty much. Next up from Ravenhouse Mystery. I was wondering if you guys have any favorite detective or mystery films. Some mystery films can delve into horror, but sometimes it's fun to watch a simple murder mystery.
You guys are probably going to laugh at this, but I was hooked on Murder, She Wrote. Jessica Fletcher, great writer and detective.
I don't have any like favorite movies, but I am definitely a sucker for all CSI, NCIS, Law & Order, SVU. SVU's my shit, by the way. I have seen pretty much every episode of every true crime show. Or not true crime, but, crime show, I guess. This one comes from fellow YouTuber Drumdums. Favorite movies From every genre except horror. Drama, comedy, action, western, and whatever. Drama?
Hardball, Keanu Reeves. When G-Baby
Oh,
goes down-
G-Baby!
Right here.
Yeah, comedy.
Brain donors.
Action.
I am a sucker for Romeo Must Die.
Western.
I don't have one because I don't really watch westerns. But if I had to say one, I guess it would be what's that Owen Wilson, Jackie Chan one?
Shanghai Noon.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
Drama, Whiplash. Comedy, Superbad. Action, Ong Bak. Western, Fievel Goes West. He also has another one. Top 5 male horror actors.
Robert Englund and Bill Moseley are definitely the top two for me. I just love everything that they're in, just because of how they present themselves as not like killers, but characters. Like I could listen to a Bill Moseley monologue like all day.
Yeah, Bill Moseley for sure. Robert Englund has shown such like a huge array of talent. Same with Tony Todd. I think he's really great in even his non-horror roles like Sushi Girl. Zach Ward
Yes, Zach Ward.
and Brendan Fletcher.
Yeah, Brendan Fletcher. Brendan Fletcher and Zach Ward are probably the most underrated people in horror when it comes to like male characters. Because like they're not always the main characters, but they have important roles in a lot of different franchises.
Yeah, definitely keep your eye out for those guys because they're always in something.
Yeah.
Even if they're bad movies, like they are still really good at what they do. Now to finish off the Q&A, we're gonna go back over to Patreon and do some kind of like more rapid fire, like quick answers to a bunch of questions from Mitch Reeves once again. Supporter, thank you very much, man. Favorite kill in a movie all time, doesn't have to be horror. Hatchet, the Pez dispenser. That's what I like to call it.
I'm gonna go with Hatchet too because it was with AJ Bowen getting decapitated
While he's banging.
While he's banging, because it's just funny.
Favorite horror game.
Nightmare.
As most of you guys call it Atmosphere, we called it Nightmare here. I'm gonna go with the video game. So my favorite horror video game, probably going to be Splatterhouse. It's got a soft spot in my heart. Favorite soundtrack. That's a tough one because it doesn't have to be horror, and you start thinking in horror because we watch so many horror movies.
I know. All that's going through my head is like It Follows, Starry Eyed.
I know, yeah. You can think of like that kind of stuff, and I definitely agree with those. Suicide Squad is probably actually my favorite soundtrack. Yeah, I listen to it all the time. If you follow me on Spotify, like it's pretty much exclusively what I listen to these days. Favorite guilty pleasure horror flick? Blood Diner. It's so shitty, but I love it.
Monster Squad.
Okay. Why do you guys think horror on television is able to get away with more than big studio horror movie releases these days? Television is a lot easier to take risks because if you do something that somebody doesn't like, you can change it the next episode.
Yeah.
It's like because in a lot of cases, especially if it's like a week-to-week basis, they're not done filming a lot of the time. I mean, stuff like Walking Dead probably, but there are a lot of shows that they're still in the process of creating while they're airing.
Yeah, and shows can get canceled like that. Like, it's really fast and easy. It's like, here's your pilot episode, didn't work, you're canceled.
When it comes to making a big budget studio feature, you need to pitch something that's sellable, and you're asking for a lot of money in return, where you can pitch something that might work, and you're just asking for a lot less money. So it's less from like one big investor that's gonna pump in a couple $100 million. Like here it's like, well, we could probably do it with 40. If they can get the same like ROI, then it's just like better for an investor to let somebody run with something for a TV show as opposed to like a big budget studio, because you don't want them just blowing all your dough. But then you also have little studios like Blumhouse, which does exactly the opposite. I think they give $5 million to someone and they just say, do whatever you want to do. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we also have these other big projects on the back burner to kind of continue to fund this $5 million like horror funnel. So it's pretty cool. I think that TV shows, I mean, they're getting canceled all the time. There's just a lot of turnover, I guess. All right, and last but not least, are there any Canadian-specific indie directors you think those of us in the States need to be more aware of? Definitely. I think there is, but I think you guys are aware of them already.
Yeah,
So like Chad Archibald.
Yeah, we're pretty tight with the guys from Black Fawn Films, and a lot of the stuff they put out there is good stuff.
Yeah, they do like Antisocial, Bite, Heretics, just like The Sublet. There's like a bunch of movies coming out of that camp. The Demolisher from Late Fox, which is Gabriel Carrera, also somebody to keep an eye out. You already know who the Saskas are. They're from BC. Zach Ward is Canadian.
Yeah.
So, and he just had his like debut last year with Restoration. Trisha Lee, she did Silent Retreat. We did like an early review of Silent Retreat. She was really good. And she has a new movie coming out. I think it's called Blood Hunters. I think that's going to be cool.
Yeah, Lowell Dean is another person who you guys have probably seen his films. Like, he's the one who has Wolf Cop. I believe he also did 13 Eerie, which is another Canadian zombie film that not many people are aware of. So,
yep,
they're out there.
We got the guys from Astron 6, from The Void to The Editor and Father's Day. Like, that whole camp and everybody associated. Whether or not they are still Astron 6, I'm not sure. But individually, like, they're all pretty solid directors. But you guys probably already know all of these people, to be honest. You should tell us what Canadian, like, filmmakers to check out. Because I don't know. We watch so many damn movies. It's hard to keep track, to be honest, where everybody's from. I don't know. But thank you guys. Thank you for allowing us to kind of do what we do and watching our stuff. Because it's you, like, well, this isn't our full-time job. You are the motivation that continues to, like, help us, like, kind of, like, grow as a channel, try and figure out how we can do cool and new things for you. And when we need to just kind of, like, watch a bad movie, it's nice for you guys to appreciate our pain sometimes. So thank you guys for everything. Your continued support, it never goes unnoticed. And thank you. And here's to the next 40K. Let's get to 100K next year. Let's try and go for 50 first. Okay.
Yeah, 50K.
All right. Take it easy, guys. Thanks. Hope you guys enjoyed. If for some reason this is the first thing that you've ever seen on our channel, subscribe. We do lots of stuff here, man. Lots of reviews. I don't know why I'm talking like this, man.